والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم
مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل
وكل في فلك يسبحون
ويخلق ما لا تعلمون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome to a new episode of our program, and inshallah we are going to still talk about the chapter of Al-Insan. We said before about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for those who are not thankful, as He said, إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا الْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. Those who disbelieve, those who deny or objects or rejects the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will punish them in the hereafter. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is talking about a different group. Always the Quran, when He talks about the believers, then talks about the disbelievers, those who are going to paradise, and then talks about those who are going to hellfire, and so on. In the verse here, verse number 5 in Surah Al-Insan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Al-Abrar, or the righteous, or the very good believers. إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ يَشْرَبُونَ مِنْ كَأْسٍ كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا كَافُورًا. As to the righteous, they shall drink of a cup of wine mixed with camphor. So this is their blessings, and this is the reward which is waiting for them, because they were deprived, or they deprived from themselves from such blessings in the dunya. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man shariba khamr ad-dunya lam yashrab khamr al-akhirah." The one who drinks the alcohol or the wine of this life will not drink the wine of the hereafter. And of course, there is a big difference between the wine here and the wine in the hereafter. That one here might cause you, for example, headache, might cause you getting drunk, you might destroy many things, you might kill, you might do anything like that, because you are under the influence of alcohol. But the hereafter, it is pure, it is clean, it is the best thing you can drink, although it is called wine, but it has nothing to do with the wine we know in this life here. So the Quran in many verses is talking about Abrar, about the righteous people. Here in this surah, in another surah which is Al-Mutaffifin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, كَلَّا إِنَّ كِتَابَ الْأَبْرَارِ لَفِي عِلِّيِّينَ. Indeed, the book or the record of Al-Abrar is going to be in a supreme position in paradise. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, last verses of Surah Al-Imran, He says, وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لِلْأَبْرَارِ. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, is better for those who are righteous, is better for those who are good, is better for those who are fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The issue of being bar or being abrar, for example, the word abrar also maybe is derived from other words, like the word bir, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Imran, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will not reach the position or the degree of bir or righteousness until you spend all the best you have. So إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ يَشْرَبُونَ مِنْ كَأْسٍ كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا كَافُورًا. It is completely different to what you drink here. The issue of paradise itself is a total change from our life to another life. As one of our scholars said, although the Quran is giving us some examples, that for example some trees, like for example grapes, like for example apples and pomegranates, they are mentioned in the Quran, but this is just to give you an example or something closer to your mind. If the Quran, for example, talks about something different that you can't understand, so you will never be able to imagine how paradise is. But the Quran is giving you something that you can understand, or something that's easy comes to your mind, but it's completely different. So apples there will not be like the apple we have here. Pomegranates are not like the ones here. Grapes are not like the ones here. It's completely different. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, فَاكَهَةٍ كَثِيرًا لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. So the fruits we have here, sometimes you might have, for example, the fruits of summer, but once summer is finished, you will never be able to find such fruits. But in paradise, there is nothing like that. You find fruits all the year, and you find fruits in summer and winter. There is no difference between any of these things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He talks about al-abrar, He says, يَشْرَبُونَ مِنْ كَأْسٍ كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا كَافُورًا. So this cup, the taste, the word kamfur here, or kafur, has been interpreted in many ways. Some people say that the taste of such cup or such wine will be like camphor. Or they say that camphor or kafur is one of the wells in paradise, or a name in some place in paradise. Anyway, so this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He prepared punishment for those who are undutiful to Him, here He prepared a great reward and a great pleasure for those who are dutiful to Him. Always, this is just to give you an example, to remind you of the blessings, to remind you of what has been kept hidden for the righteous people, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for them something that you cannot imagine. As I have just mentioned, although the Quran giving us some examples for what's being prepared in paradise, but they are just something that you can understand and something that you can imagine. But in reality, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying in Surah As-Sajdah, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قَرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ, and the hadith says, فِيهَا مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ بِقَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. In paradise, there are many things that none of the eyes has seen, and no imagination can, or nobody can imagine, and no heart even can wish or can dream of such things. It is something that beyond imagination in a way. This is, okay, if you were told, for example, just let us have an example. You are, for example, invited to one of the banquets which is being prepared by a king, a sultan, an emir, president. Then you will ask yourself, okay, what he's going to prepare? He's going to bring some food, for example, from France, Italy, Egypt, whatever the place is, and then we will have all these kind of vegetables, fruits, and you will imagine. But this is what a human being prepared. So how about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for the righteous? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for those good believing? It's something that you can't imagine. Sometimes you might get confused about what human beings prepare. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared is something that's greater than all our imagination, and that's greater than even your thinking. You can never think about what Allah prepared, because we have never been there, and nobody, for example, has been told what Allah. But generally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous, and all generosity is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because when you give something, you are waiting for a kind of reward, you are waiting for the return. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives you, and He is not in need for any return. He doesn't wait for anything. As there is a report about Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, "O Moses, don't fear poverty as long as my treasures are there, and my treasures will never be emptied, will never always will be full," and so on. So as we said in the holy hadith before, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if all of you were gathered in one place and I gave everyone what he wants or what she wants, then this will never, of course, decrease my kingdom in any way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for those righteous, for those good people, the best thing that they can be given to them, because this is the giving, or this is the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has all kinds of generosity, and He gives without waiting for anything. إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ يَشْرَبُونَ مِنْ كَأْسٍ كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا كَافُورًا. So the taste of such cup, or the taste of such drink they will have, will be something marvelous, will not be contaminated by anything like the drinks we have nowadays, will not be impure because of any reason, because mainly it is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give us an example in this life. For example, the rains. Can you find rains, for example, are contaminated or bad? No, because they are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An example is the well of Zamzam. Scholars or specialists are amazed about the type of this water, and they made many tests and they made many examinations about this water, and they said it is something marvelous. Where does this water come from? And why any water, for example, any well or something, must come to an end. But what's more marvelous in this well, it never comes to an end. Since the days of Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ, millions of Muslims have gone to Hajj, and millions of Muslims performed Hajj, and all of them, they drank from the well of Zamzam, and many of them, they made wudu, and they brought water with them, and subhanAllah, the well is still there, and the well is still running, and it's still, for example, overflowing, because it's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most generous one. This is one of the blessings that He prepared for those people. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, عَيْنًا يَشْرَبُ بِهَا عِبَادُ اللَّهِ يُفَجِّرُونَهَا تَفْجِيرًا. The translation of the verse goes as follows: a fountain where the devotees to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drink, making it then flow. So the Mufassirun have differed about the word يُفَجِّرُونَهَا تَفْجِيرًا. Some of them said that they caused this well or something like that to overflow. Some others said that it means that they can even direct this well to go whatever it likes, according to what they can, or what they. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُفَجِّرُونَ تَفْجِيرًا. He gave them, He will give them the ability to direct or to control that well, and to make it goes to the place that they like. So this is another blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to them, and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are unlimited. This is what the Quran is telling us. But in the hereafter, or in paradise, it will be something greater, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared can never be imagined, as we stated before, because they dedicated part of their time to the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us 24 hours a day, so if we can dedicate just some time for the prayer, and instead of many people who, subhanAllah, when they pray, it's a matter of as if they are going to catch something. They pray very quickly, and of course this is not the right way by which prayer could be performed. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said to one of the people who didn't perform prayer properly, go and pray again. And then he repeated the same order, and then he repeated the same order until the man prayed well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't prepare such things for those who are neglectful to their prayers, for those who do not perform fasting as the Prophet ﷺ did before, not for those who stopped or refused to pay zakah and so on. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for al-abrar, for those who are righteous, for those who are pious, for those who devoted themselves, who understood very well that they are mainly in this life to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were not busy with anything else. They made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala their main concern, and the main importance for them was how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to remember that very well, and you must know that pleasing people is something that you can never attain. But pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something which you can get easily by making some prayers, some additional worships, pray during the night, for example, help the poor and so on. By this way, you will get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the approval of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you do your best to please people, you will never be able to please them, because in a simple way, they are not pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gave them all such blessings, health, money, property, children, and so on, they are not happy with Him. They do not worship Him. So if they are not happy with their Creator, pleased with their Creator, how you imagine that they can please with you if they are not pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Imam Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on him, said something which is very nice. He said, pleasing people is one of the purposes that you will never be able to attain. إِرْضَاءُ النَّاسِ غَايَةٌ لَا تُنَالُ. So it's better, instead of spending your time trying to please this person and please that one and please so and so, you will never be able to do that, because very simple way, they will not be happy with you. But save your time and try to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with something which is very little. One of the people, one of the companions, one day he came to the Prophet and he said to him, okay, what should I do to be admitted to paradise? I just want the obligatory things. The Prophet said to him, okay, you pray 5 times. And then the man said, I will not do anything extra The Prophet said, don't do anything extra. And then he asked again, what should I do? He said, go for Hajj. And the man said, I will not do anything extra. The Prophet said the same thing. And then he said to him, you pay just the zakah, you just, for example, perform fasting. And then the man said, I will never do anything extra. The Prophet said, yes. And then the man said, and I will be admitted to paradise. The Prophet said, yes, you will be admitted to paradise. But it's not a matter of performing 5 prayers alone, but you need to do them with sincerity, as we said before. And we have to focus on this issue, because sometimes we do many things, but again our deeds might be spoiled because we are looking for people's, for example, praise, and we are just for showing off. No, you need to avoid all of that, and you need always try to book a place for yourself among those who are abrar, among those who are devotees to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, among those who are not busy with anything, but their main concern, their main goal is how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
يهدي به الله من اتبع رضوانه سبل السلام.
Welcome to this new episode of Focus Point.
The new generation has the habit of reading more than before.
Jewish question was named basically the problem of Jews who lost their function in society.
We have the female Sufi Rabi'a al-Adawiyya, may Allah have mercy on her, when she said, فَلَيْتَكَ تَحْلُ وَالْحَيَاةُ مَرِيرَةٌ وَلَيْتَكَ تَرْضَى وَالْأَنَامُ غِضَابُ. I wish you are happy with me, and the whole universe, all human beings are displeased with me, because I don't care about that. I only care about your pleasure, and I only care about your acceptance of me. So this is your main concern. You need to focus on that, and you need to make this your main concern, your main target, your main goal, and you shouldn't keep yourself busy with anything else but pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's the only thing that will avail you. This is the only thing by which you can get benefit, and you can get admittance, complete admittance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are pleased with Him, as He says, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. They are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them. Imagine a great personality, a great companion like Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu ardahu. The Prophet ﷺ, he said about him, if the faith of Abu Bakr was to compare to the faith of the whole Muslim Ummah since the beginning of Islam until the end of this life, then the Iman of Abu Bakr will be overweighed the faith of the Ummah. How Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu ardahu reached this situation, reached this sublime position? The Prophet said, ما سبقكم أبي بكر بكثرة صلاته ولا صيامه ولكن بشيء وقر في قلبه. He didn't get this position because of prayers and because of no. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with great companions. And just remember, we have a report in which Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet sallam, and he told him to tell Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu wardahu that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with the deeds of Abu Bakr. So is Abu Bakr pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? A great example also is Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu anha wardaha, when Sayyidina Jibreel came to the Prophet and he said to him, convey the greetings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Khadija herself. And then another companion, which is Sayyidina Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anhu wardaha, when the Prophet sallallahu he said to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is conveying his salam, his greetings to you. And Sayyidina Ubay was amazed, and he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said my name. He said Ubay ibn Ka'b. Then the Prophet said, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned your name and told me to say assalamu alaikum, and so on. So these are the great examples by which we can abide, or as the Prophet ﷺ, he said in the hadith, عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعدي عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. You need to follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs. And again, the companions themselves, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Fath, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and He said in the last also verses, مُحَمَّدٌ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to try to follow the footsteps of such people, because they were living during the time of the Prophet, and they are among the abrar, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, عَيْنًا يَشْرَبُ بِهَا عِبَادُ اللَّهِ يُفَجِّرُونَها تَفْجِيرًا. So these are just part of the great blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us more details and more information about those people. And He said that first, they reached this position because of what? Because of they were, for example, wealthy, because they used to occupy great positions in the state, for example. No, they didn't get that high degree because of that. But first of all, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, يُوفُونَ بِالنَّذْرِ, they used to fulfill their vows. They used to fulfill their promise. They didn't used to break a promise, for example. They always kept or honored their words, especially with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, مَنْ نَذَرَ أَنْ يُطِعَ اللَّهَ فَلْيُطِعْهُ وَمَنْ نَذَرَ أَنْ يَعْصِ اللَّهَ فَلَا يُعْصِيهِ. If you vow to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do that. But if you vow to disobey Him, you shouldn't do that. So always, you remember that you must fulfill your promise first, and must fulfill your vows to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Sayyidina Ismail, for example, in chapter Maryam, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِسْمَاعِيلَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ صَادِقَ الْوَعْدِ وَكَانَ رَسُولًا نَبِيًّا. He used to fulfill his promise, and he used to honor his words, especially with religious things. If you give a promise, for example, not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should commit to your promise. If you make a pledge or a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will never insult anybody, you have to fulfill this vow, and you have to commit to your promise and commit yourself to your words and so on, in order to be included among those people. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, يُوفُونَ بِالنَّذْرِ وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا كَانَ شَرُّهُ مُسْتَطِيرًا. And they are scared about a day in which the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reach those who did not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He must be worshipped. And also the difficulty of this day is something which is inevitable. Nobody can escape except those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chosen, and those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been pleased with. So they are scared about this day. They are well prepared for this day, because a lot of people, they mock the day of judgment, and they would say, okay, when the day of judgment would come, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will include us in His, for example, mercy. But this is a kind of dependence, but without preparing good deeds, and without really understanding the message of Islam and understanding the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very merciful, but at the same time His punishment is very severe, as He says in Surah Ghafir, غافر الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب. So you shouldn't only remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, but remember that His punishment is severe, and His punishment is inevitable for those who disobeyed Him and for those who neglected their religious duties. Always remember that, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our good deeds. And until we meet again, I leave you in the protection and safety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وترى الجبال تحسبها جامدة وهي تمر مر السحاب صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون.
مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل
وكل في فلك يسبحون.
ويخرج